Are you unsure on how to use some of these new Pokemon competitively? Well, allow me to lend you a helping hand. Hey guys, today we're talking about Clodsire. Now, this Pokemon is probably one of the cutest Pokemon ever created, in my opinion. I love the design, I love little Wooper, and I love Clodsire so much. Unfortunately, when it comes to VGC and double battles, this Pokemon is really lackluster, but it's actually a really strong Pokemon in singles. So I'm going to go over a couple of sets for VGC that you could try, when really there's probably better in slot, but they're worth giving a try if you like the Pokemon. And then I'll talk about the couple single sets that really are dominating the game at the moment and really strong. So first off, we'll go over the stats of Clodsire like we normally do. The HP stat is amazing, and so is the special defense. It's a really bulky Pokemon. You've got a big 130 HP stat and a 100 special defense. You're living at most special hits. The defense, on the other hand, is quite low at 60. It can be made up for a little with that HP to certain things, but it's really kind of under where you want it. But where this Pokemon really lacks are the offensive stats. 75 attack is nothing. It's nothing. You can throw this thing, you can put a Choice Band on this Pokemon and give it Terra Ground, and Earthquake will still do like half to a Garchomp. This thing doesn't do damage, and that's where the problem comes in. And then the speed is slow, but that's okay. You can use it under Trick Room, or you can use it as a support Pokemon. Now you might think, it's okay that it doesn't do damage, it's pretty bulky. Now where this Pokemon really shines are the abilities. Poison Point is kind of whatever, you're not really going to be running that too often, but Water Absorb is an amazing ability given that you are a ground type. So the typing is ground and poison. You're weak to things like Psychic, you're weak to ground, you're weak to water, ice, like you do have some weaknesses, but Water Absorb can get rid of one of those completely, which is really helpful to you. You can not only be immune to water moves, but it'll actually heal you. Then we have Unaware, which is an incredible ability. Unaware ignores the stat changes of enemy Pokemon. Now this can be a double-edged sword at times, but usually it works in your favor. You'll ignore enemy Pokemon boosting, but you'll also ignore if they drop their stats from something like a Draco Meteor. So that's definitely something to keep in mind with Unaware. Now offensively, this typing is really good. Only things like Corviknight and Celesteela could really wall you if they needed to, but you have Body Press for that, which can work with your defensive stat. The issue with this Pokemon in VGC is that you kind of have all my friends are dead syndrome, where you end up sitting there like a lump on the field as everything around you falls, and you don't have any offensive pressure to actually help out. And you're not as supportive of something like an Amoonguss. So it's kind of tough. Without redirection, having offensive stats this low really puts you in a weird spot where you're not really doing too much. So the first set here, this is like specifically built to counter Dondozo. So I guess this Pokemon can have a bit of a niche there, but even then, I think there are probably some better Pokemon for it. But something that's really cool is if you build this here with the 244 HP, the 188 defense, and the 76 special defense, you will actually be able to live a Wave Crash from Dondozo, and the +2 doesn't matter because you're unaware. Now the reason Unaware is important in the long game is because what you want to do after this is you want to haze away those stats, and you want to Terra Grass. So if you Terra Grass and you haze away the stats, you can actually just infinitely wall Dondozo with Recover. You have access to Yawn, you have Body Press. You can get rid of one of these for something like Protect. That's also another option. Body Press is probably your best single attacking move, though you are walled by Ghosts. If you want to change it to something like Earthquake to Gunk Shot, the problem is Earthquake is walled by flying types, Gunk Shot is walled by steel types, Iron Head I guess hits everything, but not for much damage. It's hard to find a move that really locks in. Rock Slide I guess if you want like a spread move to break stashes, but I really think you're probably better off with Body Press for damage output since it does use your hefty defense stat. This set is pretty solid at doing what it wants to do, but outside of that, it kind of just sits on the field. It's bulky, it does a little damage, it can yawn things, it can haze, it's kind of annoying. But the problem is that you could just use Umbreon for a way better Pokemon to do those things. So this Pokemon is, while being okay, it's just kind of outclassed by everything around it. Now I'll get onto this next set, which is the Assault Vest set. And this one's a bit interesting. We're running max HP. We have a lot of defense investment and some special defense. Now, the defense investment is so we can live something like an Earthquake from Garchomp, which is pretty important in the current metagame. We're running Water Absorb, which is really good with this set because we're Terra Fire, meaning that we're losing a lot of our weaknesses, but we're keeping the weaknesses to water, to ground, and to when we're getting one to rock. But this will get rid of that water weakness, which really helps us out and gives us only 2 weaknesses, and fire is a pretty solid defensive typing. With the 60 EVs in special defense, even without going into our Terra Fire form, we will survive a Choice Specs Terra boosted in the sun eruption from Torkoal if it does win that speed tie, and be able to cripple it a little bit with that Stomping Tantrum. Now you could go any Terra type you want here. The moves are running are pretty simple. We've just got Tantrum to deal with that, Gunk Shot for as big damage as we can get, but honestly, we're probably better off with Poison Jab for more consistency. Then we've got Liquidation because this coverage is really good with these 3 moves, and then Body Press for just some good chip and good damage across the board, relying on this hefty defense stat. Now, as I've said, this Pokemon in double battles is not the strongest, but if you like Clodsire, then try out these builds and they'll definitely be a fun time. Now let's get into the single sets that are actually very, very strong and dominate the singles metagame. Now this is the Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Toxic, Recover set. Now this Pokemon having Unaware makes it similar to the likes of Clefable when it comes to singles. Now, I'm sure we all remember how much of just a dominant threat that thing was when it came to defensive play. We're running the heavy-duty boots because we want to not take chip damage from things like rocks and spikes, and it's a very hazard-heavy meta, especially with Goldengo running around blocking a lot of the hazard removal. We've got Stealth Rock, which is really solid. We get up our own hazards. We've got Earthquake for big damage because Earthquake in singles is a lot more damage than it is in doubles. Anyone that doesn't know, in double battles, your spread moves only do 75% of the damage to both opponents unless there's only one opponent remaining, and that's to balance them. Otherwise, everyone would just spam the spread moves. We've also got Toxic to Toxic down those opponents. This, again, in singles is a lot stronger than it is in doubles. Toxic Stall and switching around is something you do in singles a lot better because the matches are a lot longer. And then we've got Recover just to keep healthy and to stall things out. And with the Unaware and the Toxic Stall, they can't set up on us either to take us out. So this is a really, really solid set. It gives us really good bulk, and I highly, highly recommend using this as your special wall. Now, there's another set that I really, really like in singles, and it is the Stockpile set. Now, Stockpile with leftovers, you can run Black Sludge. The only problem is, if you're to go into that defensive Terra Water, then you're going to lose the benefit of Black Sludge, and you really want to keep that. So we're going to run leftovers. And Stockpile, for those who don't know, is a move that raises both your defenses, your defense and your special defense, but you can only use it 3 times. But if you raise your defenses 3 times with Unaware, they can't set up on you. Anything short of a crit is not going to take you down, and you're going to be on the board, just really hard to remove. It's also going to boost the damage of your Body Press, making it a lot stronger. And then we have Toxic for stalling again with Recover. This is a very, very strong set, and it's more on the defensive side. So we have your special defensive wall, and this is more your defensive tank that can really set up and stay on the field. Clodsire is a really cool Pokemon. It's kind of crazy to see something be so bad when it comes to doubles play, but so unbelievably strong when it comes to singles play. And with this kind of a design, I'm set to make this thing work. I even reached out to Twitter for some sets, and I saw a couple that were very similar to what I created, but I really want to see some more. If you guys have good Clodsire sets, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to try this Pokemon out for a video with a cool set for all of you, because I really, really love the design of Clodsire, and Paldean Wooper is just amazing. I just love the little guy. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.